Good morning. Here are your daily economics and financial updates for 22nd of August 2025. Overall market tone is positive, with strong services activity, a clearer path to GST reform, and easing input constraints from China. We'll cover the top company stories, the key sectors, and the big policy and geopolitics moves shaping India's markets today. Hindustan Unilever. Sentiment, neutral. Chuel appointed Niranjan Gupta as Chief Financial Officer CFO designate. This is a planned leadership change that should keep financial discipline intact. The move does not change near-term demand for soaps, detergents, or personal care, but it reassures investors about continuity in cost control and capital allocation. For everyday consumers, nothing changes immediately. For the company, steady hands at finance help in budgeting, input hedging, and navigating taxes such as goods and services tax, GST. Wipro, sentiment positive. Wipro agreed to acquire a business from Harman alongside a multi-year strategic partnership. This gives Wipro deeper product engineering strengths and access to new customers. In simple terms, Wipro is buying skills and long-term work that can lift growth and margins. Clients prefer partners with end-to-end capability. Over the next few quarters, investors will watch how quickly the new unit is integrated and how the partnership translates into billable projects. Infibeam Avenues. Sentiment, neutral. The Payments Council of India re-elected Vishwas Patel of Infibeam Avenues as a key office bearer. This is about industry representation and better dialogue with regulators. It does not directly change Infibeam's revenues or profits right away. Over time, strong industry bodies can help shape helpful rules for online payments and data security, which benefits all payment companies, including Infibeam. Brigade Enterprises. Sentiment, positive. Brigade leased about 9 acres on Chennai's old Mahabalipuram Road, Omar. It plans Grade A offices plus a 200-key W Marriott hotel. This corridor has scarce land and strong demand from technology companies. The project can create steady rental income and hotel cash flows. For investors, it improves long-term visibility. For the city, it adds quality workspace and hospitality capacity in a prime IT zone. GMR Airports Infrastructure. Sentiment, positive. The GMR Group raised about 6,000 crore via debt, improving liquidity for expansion and refinancing. Airports are capital-intensive, and strong funding keeps projects on track. For travelers, it means better facilities over time. For investors, lower financing risk. The focus now is on execution, keeping costs under control as passenger traffic normalizes and non-aero revenues grow. SBI Cards. Sentiment, neutral. SBI Cards remains on traders' watch lists. Consumption trends are solid, and a GST rate cut on some goods could support festive spending. At the same time, the regulator is keeping an eye on unsecured lending growth. For card users, that means business as usual. For the company, it's about balancing growth with risk controls and keeping credit costs stable. Sobha. Sentiment, positive. Home sales have been robust in many cities, and banks' gross non-performing assets, GNPA, are at multi-year lows. That helps housing finance and buyer confidence. Sobha benefits from this backdrop, with potential for new launches and faster inventory churn. The key watch is execution timelines and input costs. For buyers, more options. For investors, better visibility on bookings and cash flows. Cummins India. Sentiment, neutral. Cummins India supplies engines and power solutions. Orders depend on infrastructure and industrial capex. With the economy holding up and the rupee fairly stable, the medium term looks fine. In the short run, revenue depends on project timing. For customers, dependable equipment. For investors, a steady cyclical story tied to capital spending in roads, rail, and factories. Care Ratings. Sentiment, positive. A new report shows bank NPAs are around a 15-year low, thanks to companies repaying debt and banks cleaning up books. That is good for the whole economy. For a ratings agency like Care, it can mean more ratings work as companies borrow for growth and refinance at better terms. Healthier banks also support lower borrowing costs for businesses. Foxconn Honhai. Sentiment, negative. India operations. A Foxconn unit, Yuzhan Technology, reportedly sent back around 300 Chinese engineers from its India facility, and about 60 more were barred from entering. This could slow local component manufacturing plans. For India's electronics ambitions, it's a setback. Authorities and companies will likely recalibrate staffing and training plans to keep localization on track. Amazon and Flipkart. Sentiment, neutral. Both platforms are telling brands to prepare for GST rate changes and keep inventory ready for a late festive sales surge in October. If taxes are cut, prices can fall and demand can rise. For shoppers, bigger deals. For brands, careful stock planning so they don't miss the peak sales window. Novo Nordisk. Sentiment, negative. India market. India's drug regulator CDSCO warned doctors and patients after a theft of some Novo Nordisk products during transit. These are temperature-sensitive medicines like semaglutide and insulin. If storage conditions are not maintained, quality and safety can be affected. Consumers should buy only from authorized sources with proper invoices. Global beauty majors, Estée Lauder, L'Oreal, Shiseido. Sentiment, positive. India opportunity. A report suggests India's premium beauty market could quintuple by 2035. Global brands are adapting products for local conditions and investing in distribution. For consumers, more premium choices. For brands, a big runway as incomes rise and tastes evolve. That's your 10-minute wrap. Strong services PMI, GST reform momentum, and input risk easing set a positive tone, even as isolated operational risks pop up. Follow for daily market highlights. See you tomorrow.